Hello all of you beautiful people, Jules here from Live and Let's Dice, and I have a super special video for you today because we are talking about the one and only Horus Heresy, baby! Yeah, that's not actually just come from my crotch, it's just easier than balancing it anywhere else on this desk. Yes, we are talking about the Horus Heresy. Live and Let's Dice have their copy of this game, the starter set that's going to be dropping very soon, and we have also played the game, had a lovely demo game with some very special people from the Warhammer team as well. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Jules, how the hell did you get your hands on this early copy of it? Well, my friend, because GW actually reached out to us and asked us if we would like to paint up an entire legion for the Horus Heresy announcement event that happened very recently. And I mean, take a look at these models. I think that we did a bloody good job indeed. So what I thought that we'd do today for a bit of fun is, I'm actually going to put this down because it is way heavy, my friends. What we're going to do today is we're going to unbox what is inside this Age of Darkness starter kit, and then Beanie's going to join in a little bit later, and we're going to talk about what we thought from our first impressions after playing a demo game at Warhammer World. There is a lot to get through in every sense of the word, so let's find out what's in that box, shall we?
So here we are in my kitchen today looking at this big brand new box of Warhammer, the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness. Now, the reason we're in my kitchen is because it's the area that has the most space and the least cat hair. Anyway, let's find out what's inside the box. Oh my god, of course we begin with the most important thing of the box, the range rulers and the blast and flame templates. Oh, the foe of every younger sibling. Those knees. Whipped! Me oh my, that is a lot of plastic. There is so much content in this box that it is pure value town no matter how you look at it. Even if you're playing from 40k, there's so much stuff here that you can use, and we'll start with the biggest bad boy around, the Spartan. That's right, if you've ever wanted a transport that has insane capabilities, armor, durability, and 8 las cannons, oh my god, then this is the unit for you. You'll be driving around in style and laughing as your opponent just melts before you. But if you want to go for a bit of a walk, you can go and take your new Contemptor Dreadnought out, which has the options of auto guns or las cannons as its output, and it is no slouch in combat either, with a massive claw to strike down your enemies. But you've got to sort of balance things out with a bit more of an elite choice. You've got 10 Terminators here, and you can build them either with dual lightning claws or power fists and storm bolters. There's also options for flamers in there as well, and power weapons. We built ours with the dual lightning claws because of the extra speed that it allows you to go an initiative step higher than power fists, meaning that you can carve through infantry and just absolutely treat them like they were butter on a delicious lobster dinner. Now, I would personally, after playing the game, say that the power fists definitely have their place because they hit like an absolute truck, but if you're looking to clear out thick lines of infantry, these are the way to go thanks to the durability afforded by the Terminator armor. You get a lot of boys here. You will see this sprue a lot while building your army of the Horus Heresy from this box set, but you can personalize all your boys a little bit here. You've got the sort of like banners here, you've got a power fist, you've got some extra sort of thermal charges, melter bombs, and different heads as well for your sergeants. You can even give your sergeant a lovely sort of lightning claw here that's kind of like Space Wolf bony style thing, which I really dig actually, and I might actually put in. And you see this lovely little Auspex scanner here. I decided to turn this into a little Game Boy on our ones there, the 2 batteries at the top, and I put a little sort of like Game Boy logo on there, but that's just a little bit of detail that you can add in with this kit, and you get a lot of these sort of upgrade sprues as it were, so you can add a bit more flavour into your party. Now over here you've always got 2 choices of the Praetor to lead your force into battle. You've got one with a power sword over here, and you got one with a stomping big power axe over here. Now the power axe is slower but hits incredibly hard, whereas the power sword will go first and does less damage, but you have a good chance of slicing through your opponents. And as you can see here, they've got Volkites as their weapons for their pistols. It's brilliant. Like as I said before, in terms of the value, what you get here: Spartan, the Contemptor Dread, 2 HQs, 40 boys over here, and obviously the 10 Terminators. That is a huge force to start with. So if you're looking to split with a mate, there's a clear division that goes along here. You'll probably be fighting over who wants the Spartan because it's just very cool in general. But if you're just looking to buy this for yourself for one force, then you really don't need that much more. It's a huge force that you can field straight out of the gate. The only thing that I have to say that is the weirdest there, I wouldn't say this is a criticism, it's more just a why. These shoulder pads, you have to fit them both together and then smooth over the line and then apply them to the model singularly. I don't know why this was a thing to add in an extra step, why this couldn't just be a single shoulder pad is beyond me, but it is here, and as I said before, there are a lot of them. And obviously there is the rulebook as well, and it is chunktacular. I mean, look at the size of that thing. But do not fret, my friend, it is not just so many rules that will make your head spin. There is also a ton of lore in here explaining what's going on around this period of time, as well as a ton of info on all of the different legions, as well as those who lead them. It's very, very cool reading from start to finish, and the rules, like I said, are very easy to digest, but are they easy to put into practice? Well, luckily, Beanie and I had a demo game at Warhammer World, and now we're going to cut to our feedback and first impressions, what we thought of this beautiful looking game.
So, Beanie, you are a man that I believe, aside from liking pints quite a lot, also enjoys a bit of the Horus Heresy. Is that true? Are the rumours founded?
They are founded. I have read a fair few books about the Horus Heresy over my time.
Now, on average, how many Horus Heresy Black Library books have you read?
I've got to have hit at least over 100 now.
Oh my god. Okay.
The problem is all the names are just blurring into one, and it's more me remembering memorable kills.
So, I mean, you've obviously read a lot, but how excited were you to find out that the Horus Heresy is getting its own brand new starter set, the Age of Darkness, and the fact that we got sent a copy? Yeah, I know, right?
I was so happy. It's because it's plastic kit, because one of my biggest dislikes in the hobby is dealing with resin, because there is always so much more work.
Yeah.
Whereas this, they look so crisp and clean on the spruce. And all beakies.
I know. I mean, the kit, as I've previously explained, has got so much value in it. I mean, you get the Spartan, you get the Contemptor Dredge, you get 40 boys, 2 Praetors, and then 10 Terminators. I feel like the Terminators on top of all of the rest of the stuff just feels like the icing on the already very bloody cake. It's beautiful stuff. But
I know.
The thing is that we painted up an entire legion together. Me, you, Lawson and Mikey, we put together our collective efforts and we painted up the Emperor's Children, which people will have seen on the Warhammer community post that they did for the event, which I'm so happy with. It's just great to have something like that be represented. I know, they made it look better than we ever painted in real life, so thank you very much to the studio team for touching up clearly a few points on there. They were a joy to build, aside from the shoulder pads, and I'm so happy with what we created. But you and I actually got to go a bit further and play a game of this as well, a demo game with Nick, who was leading this session, and we were playing as the Word Bearers, weren't we, this time?
No. We were the Ultramarines.
Oh,
they were the Word
Bearers.
Yeah.
So we were the Ultramarines, and it was.
I refused, if you remember, to be the Word Bearers because Erebus is a dick. That
was exactly your words. And Nick was there, like, yeah, fair one. And so we played against Sylvia and Quipster. So it was like a classic Live and Let's Dice double team, effectively, because we enjoy doing those sort of tag team matches. Yeah. And the scenario that we were playing was that there was 2 forces converging on a broken, or at least what we assumed to be broken down Spartan. Now, what we had to do was survive for as long as possible, and the person who had the most models around the center of the Spartan, which was the objective in this case, would claim control of it at the end of the battle, and they would win. You get a point per model that was there. Now, we won by 1 point. And we had quite a lot of stuff happen in a very short game. Now, I have to say that after playing this and seeing the sort of over-the-top bombastic nature of 40k, I was expecting this to be a more stripped back and sort of more focused approach. And I was not wrong. This is a beautiful game mechanic that they've got going on here. And I would arguably say that on the what I played and what I experienced and what I've read from the rulebook, this is probably my favourite game mode that they've got going from Games Workshop because of the reactions. Now, the reactions are amazing, Bean, aren't they?
Yeah, I love the concept of it because it stops you from sitting down for 20 minutes and staring at your phone while someone decides what they're doing. Yeah. It allows you every phase, which is they've got the 3 phases, and you can do an action like evasion. Someone starts moving towards you, you can move back 4 inches.
Yeah.
Fantastic, and it feels more like an actual war going on. It doesn't feel so static and hilarious like in Mortal Kombat, where people stand there doing this. If you just let them, it just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, this is the thing. As an orc player, I all too well know the joy of my opponents sitting down for their first turn. If I get first turn and I've got to move 90 boys, it's going to take a while. Equally, it's as depressing as me just shoveling those 90 boys into a bucket at the end of their first turn if they get turn 1. So I mean, whereas the reactions, they allow a bit more of like there's no downtime, or much less downtime between your go. And I really enjoyed the example that you gave of being able to move back if the enemy moved forward, because we actually put that into practice in our game against Silvio and Quippy, because of the fact that when they moved forward, Nick was there like, okay, are you going to meet the charge? Are you going to stay there and fire Overwatch? And we're like, no, we're actually going to pull back. We're going to push back a little bit to make their charge harder, so that they come in disorganized, and then we get them in the nice pincer movement. And it rewarded strategy in a way that 40k, and I don't want to seem like I'm being critical of it, it just doesn't in that sense. It's 40k is strategy and weight of dice. That definitely gets you very, very far in any match.
Every time.
Whereas this, I can see that even with the weight of dice, your opponent is able to do snapshots, Overwatch back at you and fire back. You're not going to win just bringing more guns to the party. You're going to have to be clever about how you use them, because, well, our first turn of shooting was disastrous. We went up there, we thought to ourselves, we'll stand there and we'll just let them come towards us and we'll pick them off as they come. So we stood firm and we fired volley after volley of bolter fire into them, and we killed one guy. And then on the receiving, because they spent their reaction point to fire back, they killed 2 guys. So I was like, oh dear.
And it's not like with Overwatch, they get to fire back on their normal ballistic for this. Now, I thought that was really cool. It's like, oh, nice one, you're targeting us, are you? Would you like to react to that? Because you only get the one reaction. Unless, of course, you've got a character that has a specific rule. Because like Nick was saying, you will see as the game pads out a bit more, you'll see like this character will say, you get double reactions in the shooting phase. Because he's of the Imperial Fists and he's glued to the floor because it's made of earth or whatever nonsense you'll say. But yeah, I've had a great time with it, and the rule book's really cool. Like, I really like how they've given like decent examples with like diagrams coloring the bases, saying if A goes here, this advance could happen. Like we got to do that sweeping advance. Turn.
That was so much fun, because the fact that you were saying, describing how Horus Heresy plays, you said kind of feels like, was it 7th edition? Or was it...
Yeah, it's basically everything pre-8th, because like the last edition I played before quitting was 4th. So, and sweeping advance was always a part of it, i.e. you have combat, you beat them up to the point at which their morale says, we've got to run. They roll a d6 and add their initiative, and then you roll 2d6, and if you beat them, you murder them as they're running away. No ifs, no buts. They're not going to go and sit on an objective dead. And I love that.
I really enjoyed the fact that it was each case that it happened, we got 2 sweeping advances that were utterly devastating on both sides. And it all came down to just 1 point of difference on the dice roll. And it was like, oh, that feels so close, but felt so justified. And there was also a way of using those sweeping advances for both tactical push forwards as well, because it's like they pushed forward onto the objective because of using that, but also if they're not careful, they can be drawn too far away from objectives and support and get absolutely murdered the next round. So it's a case of, okay, there is a very tempting target in front of you. You could wipe an entire squad, which is obviously something we are hard-coded to want to do, but it may not work out in the long run if you, say, overextend with your Terminators, and now they're getting absolutely railed by about 5 other units all at once. And do you know what as well? I enjoyed the fact that multi-damage weaponry does not seem to exist within this. There's no sort of las cannons doing swingy d6 and always rolling a 1 no matter what, because now they just do 1 damage, but if the strength is more than double, or I think it's equal to or double,
so a multi-melter will melt a Marine straight, even if his character... He's gone.
It's just, and it's fair, you literally just kill him.
It's basically being shot with a volcano.
I
don't care how rolled you actually are. You've just been melted to bits, unless you're a tank. And that was a rule I loved in the older game, was the fact that something, a las cannon to the face should be the death of anyone who's just wearing regular armor.
Agreed.
Goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. And like that happened very much to one of their Terminators. He just looked down and there was a massive hole in his chest. And he was like, oh, well, I guess I'm gone then. But I tell you, another rule that I absolutely loved is they added in, they changed the overheat mechanic that's in Warhammer 40k, where like if you roll a 1, your gun explodes or overmelts in your hand, and you just die. Whereas this one, it can overheat, but you've got a chance to ward off that damage because it's like, okay, look, I recognize it's getting hot, so let's just cool it down. There's
do an armor save.
Yeah.
Just a reg armor save, which is great because you're a Marine.
You should be able to avoid not having your gun kill you. Like, you should be able to.
Who has been indoctrinated with all this hypnotherapy stuff to make you super powerful with weaponry. I'm pretty sure they're not going to go, oh, this is overheating, better hold tighter.
Yeah, I know, right? It's very weird.
It always really hurts when you see a Hellblaster whose entire job is shooting plasma weaponry and he blats himself on a 1 without an armor save. Makes such a difference to the game.
Yeah.
To be able to go, yeah, okay, it's overheating, but I am in ceramite armor. I'm alright, like.
Exactly. We also found out as well that Contemptor Dreadnoughts, they are no slouch when it comes to shooting and fighting, because he managed to take on an entire squad. I think it was like a of 10 regular Marines, and he just crumped and crushed his way through them. And then we were told by Nick that you can take him into squad sizes of up to 3. And it's like, oh, please, be still my beating heart, because it is now on the end of your gigantic claw. It was horrifying. So yeah, expect to see a lot of them, I imagine, when the game fully rolls out.
I can't wait. I want to see what they're like, because obviously Volkite has become a bit too prevalent maybe in 40k because of its mortal wound output.
Indeed.
I want to see what it's like in 30k, because obviously there's loads more Volkite in there. Like, we could have had that Contemptor with the dual Volkite Culverin?
Yes, some crazy
They've all got
weaponry.
great names.
Sorry, no, I was going to say that they've also just announced the special weapons package as well, which is going to allow you to put in a Devastator squad of another 10 Volkite. It's like, oh my god, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I imagine that you're getting that day one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is the thing, like, because have you told everyone about the other lovely surprise that GW sent?
Oh, what, you mean the second box?
The second box,
the second. Yeah, so for those of you at home that may not understand what we're talking about, no, GW did not just give us an extra box by accident. It was because we had the first box sent out to us early so that we could paint them up for the event, and they've just sent through a second box with the proviso that we use them to create a second army so that we can actually start doing some content and battle reports with them. So definitely expect to see some happening on the channel soon, and I'm really excited by the fact that GW seems to want to support this equally alongside 40k. This isn't going to be just one of those, oh, here's another box and we're not going to touch it for like 20 years or so. And I know that there may be some 30k players out there would like that, but you've got to move with the times, and the fact is that GW want to support this, so we're going to hopefully see more sort of like rules updates and tweaks as we go on, and also just a ton of new models. I mean, that brand new Kratos tank that was announced, the one that apparently doesn't exist in 40k, which I'm interested to see how they're going to do stuff like this, because they've always done they've always done it before where they said it's a relic. You know, you get 1 or 2 Leviathan Dreadnoughts still out there.
But it is a relic.
But they've said specifically it's like it does not exist in 40k, and I'm like, interesting. I hope that there is a rule set, a data sheet for it, but if you're limited to like 1 per army sort of thing.
Well, the whole point with it is that it got outclassed by the more maneuverable Predator, was the whole point of it disappearing. But yeah, like you say, exactly the same with Leviathans. They generally, a chapter will have some relic piece of gear. There's going to be some like artillery-based or like tanky-based chapters who have got one in the basement just in case, you know, everything falls apart.
I love that. Like your rainy day policy is just a 50-foot Leviathan.
Kratos!
Yeah, it's like, just roll it out, man. Roll it, sweep the dust off it. Let's go. Yeah, so I'm very excited to see what other sort of vehicles and characters that they bring out. Obviously, the new Lucius model that they just announced for the Emperor's Children. Man, does he look good. I'm so keen for that. Oh, 100% I am. I mean, I'm going to be running Emperor's Children 100% for my horse. I know, surprising, right? Like, we've just painted the whole army for it. But you haven't actually announced to the people at home what you're going to be playing.
Oh, I'm doing World Eaters. Yes, Khan!
Oh, that's going to be
I'm so excited. Because I've already bought the dice.
Oh, they are beautiful. Have you got them there as well? Oh, they are so beautiful. I love a good dice set, me. Love a good dice set.
Me too. And Khan is probably my favourite character in the Heresy, apart from maybe Sigismund.
Yeah.
So I want to do the World Eaters. Plus, I've never really painted white, so this is going to be like a fun new project for me. And
blood splatters.
Thinking,
Just
With the new World Eaters rules coming out, imagine 20 berserkers in a Spartan.
No,
They go up the table, they get out. I don't think you've got time to be dealing with my Spartan because of the kill, maim, burn stuff that may be happening at the same time. So he's just going to sit in the middle of the crowd just shooting away when you're getting chewed.
And let's not forget, for those at home who don't know, the Spartan has got the lasgun array that is 8 lasguns. 8. And 20 capacity, and its toughness 8. It's going to be rolling through, man. So to bring back to our demo game, we had a great time with that. We also had to have a fun time with the Praetor versus Praetor challenge as well, which was a new mechanic that I hadn't actually experienced before. So they got to basically step aside from the battle and have a one-on-one showdown, and our Praetor stepped forward, said very confidently that he was going to send this guy back to where he came from, but unfortunately failed to do so for about 3 rounds, and then ran away as soon as he won the battle, because the unit that he was a part of failed their morale check, and then he ran a whopping 12 inches away. It was very impressive. Gone. He was gone, man. He was out of it. But the thing is that I walked away from that demo game thinking, I can't wait to play more. I think that for an outsider looking in, and apologies to those hardcore 30k players that are, I'm not saying they're turning their noses up on it, but they're maybe seeing some of the nuances and changes between the previous edition and this one. This is all new to us. I am loving this. I think that it is absolutely brilliant. I love the fact that it's more tactical. I love the reaction phases. I love the fact that Praetors kind of have that Dynasty Warriors feel to them, where they really do matter on the battlefield, much more than just having a handful of characters to throw forward. This is like, if you lose your Praetor, that's a big issue for Warlord traits, for morale, for getting other things done around the battlefield and motivating your troops. And I also just love the fact that you are able to, right out of the box, field 2 of the biggest mamma jammers possible in the form of those Contemptor Dreadnoughts and that Spartan. I mean, the Terminators are no slouch, but come on. I mean, it's Value Town, this box. I'm loving it.
Absolutely. I was fully planning to get it anyway.
Yeah.
So
this worked out for the best.
Maybe I'll have 40 berserkers in my Spartans. Go, my man.
No, we can't.
Khan in one.
Well,
Disco Lord following the other.
My only saving grace will be is the fact that unless you get some crazy buffs to your initiative, which is what dictates which order you fight in against your opponent, the Emperor's Children always get to add +1 to their initiative. So fingers crossed, even if you charge in, I might be able to fight before I die, which I'm gonna need to do. No, but you're saying no immediately.
But what did we learn about the game in terms of armor piercing and things like that? It's a very different kettle of fish than what we're used to, which is this negates it slightly. It takes minuses off. This actually has to be the same or lower to actually negate the armor. So our lightning claws did nothing.
Well, they did
those Terminators.
Yeah. Against the Terminators, they were rubbish, but against regular infantry, they just swept through them, man. But yeah, Terminators, not so much.
Yeah, so you need that really high number on that AP if you want to just be plinking off stuff. And that's what rewards the big guns instead of having the wound values of, say, like D6 +2 that we're dealing with now. It's more, well, that just has gone straight through the tank. Yeah. And now you've got a full blow through. Brilliant.
What I absolutely love about this is that you're not spending a lot of time memorizing data sheets and weapon profiles, because, again, the max damage seems to be just 1, and obviously it's just strengths and initiatives that you need to worry about for the most part, because you're going to get so used to playing the same models on different armies with different individual units chucked in. And I love the fact that that means that you're not spending all that time memorizing that information, so you're focusing on your tactics, you're focusing on your movement more, you're making the use of the fact that you're in coherency within 2 inches of another model, so you can start spreading out, wrapping around, making sure that people can't escape and blocking off people from getting to objectives. We learned from this that just having a conga line of boys take a brunt of an attack is actually worth more than them killing that unit, because if it slows them down for a turn or 2 more, then that objective is still under your control and you have got it. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Points mean prizes.
Well, and that's the other thing as well. Gone are the days in 40k where if one man is sticking out, you can kill the entire 10-man squad.
Yes.
In this game, you have to be able to see them to kill them because you create wound pools. And if you look at the wound pool and go, there is no one in line of sight to allocate these wounds to, they disappear.
Yeah.
You don't get the magic bullet bouncing experience that you get in 40k of, look, I can see his hat.
Yeah.
The entire squad is paced.
And it also...
And I love that.
Yeah, I agree,
you
man.
can do that, like you said, the chaining. You can go, okay, I'm going to chuck a couple of guys around you, do a bit of recon.
Yep.
Uh-oh. They're paced.
Maybe
the other guys going the other way.
Okay, go the other way around. Because it always is the weirdest thing, isn't it? When you're playing 40k and somebody takes models from the back, and it's the same with like the fight phase as well. You take them from the back, and I assume in that sense it makes more sense that they move forward to take up that person's space. But here it's like, okay, cool. I'm going to actually be tactical in who I take models, where I take models from, because that means that I'm actually denying you loads of wounds if I do it correctly. So it's going to teach people to use terrain and scenery to their advantage. It is going to allow them to sort of think, okay, maybe it's worth me taking from the front or the side so that I can actually make a charge slightly easier still on the next turn. And it's going to make better generals out of a lot of people, I think. Plus, the game did not take that long. I was so surprised at how quick we moved through things. I thought that with a brand new rule set that we were going to be spending hours getting to grips with things, but the way that it was conveyed by Nick and the sheer simplicity of the basic actions, and I won't say that we played with all of the advanced rules and stuff that were there.
You said we were doing demo.
Exactly. There is, you can just jump into this and have a great game, and in a sense that I feel like it's truly living up to that GW promise of you could have a game over your lunch break. I'm sure that if you get all of the advanced rules and all of the other special rules involved, it'd probably take a lot different, but still, for what it was, super, super impressed.
Yes, absolutely. I cannot wait to start, and World Eaters.
I know, right? And obviously, we'll keep you up to date with Beanie's paint jobs to make sure that they're coming along fine. And obviously, I'll bring the Emperor's Children and all of their resplendent, egotistical glory as soon as we get them back from GW. And we will do some bat reps for you lovely people here on the channel very, very soon. So there we go. Those are our first impressions and what is inside that rather monolithic box right there. I hope that you enjoyed that. And I want to give a massive thank you to Andy and Jamie for arranging this event, and it was absolutely fantastic to meet so many other brilliant content creators, get to chat to them, see what models that they painted and how they went through the process of painting up their legions, and then just come out the other side with a ton of new friends and obviously a few great battle reports and memories as well. So hope that you enjoyed that. Thanks to the team and everybody else. Big love to you, and we'll see you soon here on Live and Let's Dice.